Tonight on KGW News, rescued from a ravine.
Get me out. That was the first thing I thought. It's like, yes, here.
How this driver got out, all thanks to an iPhone and one alert neighbor. Plus,
one small action could cause a large wildfire.
And it turns out more and more are being sparked by people. The three main mistakes that are fanning the flames. And later, a child attacked by a cougar in a Washington park.
Luckily, the mom responded perfectly and quickly.
So how should you respond as two more sightings crop up close to home?
Good evening, everyone. Let's get right to breaking news in a brush fire in the Gorge near Multnomah Falls. These photos coming into the KGW newsroom from Cascade Locks Fire and EMS. They show flames along the hillside above the rail line in the eastbound lanes of I-84. Officials telling us it's about a half acre in size at milepost 33 and sparked around 9 this evening. We understand multiple agencies have responded. It appears, as far as we can tell, that I-84 is still open. No word on a cause at this point. We, of course, will update you as more details become available. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. We continue this evening with a crash in rural Columbia County and the remarkable reasons, more than one, a woman believes she is still alive. That is after this driver went off the road into a remote ravine, and tonight, while she is understandably shaken up, she is doing okay and feeling grateful. Alma McCarty talked to that driver about the chain of events that made her rescue even possible. Alma.
And David, she told me that it was downright terrifying when her pickup went a good 30 feet down a steep embankment, and it appears her phone likely helped save her life.
On this quiet country road outside Vernonia, evidence of a rescue almost easy to miss.
It's very scary.
Ashley, who didn't want to share her last name, was heading home Friday night in her truck when she suddenly slid off the road, she says, and hurtled down a steep embankment.
I was trying to get out. I got out and I was trying to climb, and it was obviously too deep. And from there, that's when I started screaming help.
Too deep and too far, it seemed, though somehow her iPhone was still within reach.
I pushed it up towards the outside, like you're gonna shut it off, and it said SOS and slide, so I slid it.
Our dispatch center received a call. It wasn't really a call, it was more of a notification from an individual's Apple device that stated that they possibly might have been in a motor vehicle accident.
Haley Palmore with the Mist Birkenfeld Rural Fire Protection District says neighboring Vernonia crews immediately set out to search.
And there wasn't really any luck. They weren't finding anyone.
Then a break, a 911 call from a neighbor who heard screams.
When I first got on scene, I couldn't even see it. I was like, it was amazing that they found it.
I was so happy that they actually had people come and help me.
First, crews slid down to make sure Ashley was all right. Then rescuers used ropes and a basket to get her back up. A tricky situation from start to finish.
And when they got up to the top of the hill, myself and some other people were able to help kind of get them over that crest. It was a really challenging call.
Although the Toyota Tacoma remains stuck, Ashley couldn't be more grateful. Thanks to tech, a neighbor, and the rescue teams, she made it out.
I'm alive. You just got to be careful. And then using that SOS on your smartphone, iPhone, whatever, it comes in handy so well.
It appears that despite very spotty cell service in that area, the emergency message made it quickly to first responders. Fire crews say it's worth figuring out how your phone or device can help you in an emergency. Palmore also recommends telling someone where you're going, how you're getting there, and when you expect to arrive, especially in a rural area. David?
Yeah, great reminder there, Alma. I'm just so glad she's okay. Thanks so much. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, starting with significant progress for a Washington County deputy who was shot multiple times while delivering an eviction notice. Charles Doze is now conscious and talking to family. As a civil deputy for the past decade, Doze has served legal orders, enforced court orders, and county ordinances. Investigators say he was shot when 34-year-old Christopher James Graves opened fire through his front door when deputies arrived at his apartment last week. After an hours-long standoff, Graves was dead. It remains unclear if he shot himself or was shot by a deputy. With Doze in the hospital, his fellow deputies started a GoFundMe. At last check, it has raised over $60,000. If you'd like to contribute, you can find a link in our article that's up now at KGW.com. Portland police are looking for help finding the driver of a deadly hit and run over the weekend. This was on Northeast Gleason and 60th in the North Tabor neighborhood just after midnight on Sunday. Police say when they arrived, they found an adult male there dead. This marks the 13th traffic fatality in Portland this month, the 44th this year. For perspective, at this time last year, we had seen 28. And Multnomah County's newly established auto theft task force has just busted a man authorities say is a prolific car thief. Jesse Dane Brower pleaded not guilty this afternoon to charges that include unauthorized use of a vehicle, possession of a stolen vehicle, and felony elude. Authorities say they found evidence related to dozens of stolen vehicles plus stolen car parts while executing a search warrant at Brower's home over the weekend. Bail was set at $30,000. Brower is due back in court next week. Let's go back to wildfires now with that fire burning near Multnomah Falls. And while the season is far from over when we compare it to last year at this time of year, officials say more of 2023's blazes to date have been sparked by people. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri takes a closer look at the new stats along with a reminder on how you can keep fires from starting.
It has already been a long summer for crews working on wildfires across the state and throughout the Pacific Northwest.
We are still seeing just a little bit extra. And so because we're kind of having this really dry, windy, hot summer.
What that little bit extra is this year, according to Jessica Pracky with the Oregon Department of Forestry, is human-caused fires.
We have had 456 human-caused fires this year that have burned 3,721 acres, and that's on ODF protected lands only.
She says while it's not a big jump compared to this time last summer, they are on the rise.
As we go into August, we want to make sure that people are very aware that, one small action could cause a large wildfire.
A real concern heading into August isn't going to be just the heat, but how dry we've been across the state. PDX hasn't seen any measurable amount of rain at all this summer. The last time we saw a real soaker was back in late spring on June 19th, 42 days ago. Pracky says there are three things behind human-caused fires.
A lot of things. So the number one cause of human-caused fires in Oregon is debris burns. We've had several of those, a couple of campfires, and then it also includes cars, like, parking over dried grass.
She says taking preventative measures now.
Go and make sure that your car is serviced to make sure that there's no faulty parts.
Will go a long way to stop fires from even starting.
The more people can be aware, the better for us.
Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
Always a good reminder. All right, speaking of the environment, we're seeing startling new evidence, researchers say, of how climate change is impacting our oceans. In some spots, they're actually changing colors. Let's explain. New research from Oregon State University, along with MIT and the National Oceanography Center, have discovered that oceans near the equator are turning greener. We talked to Kelly Bisson at OSU, and her team found that the change in color has to do with ecosystems near the ocean's surface also changing.
Where there's more phytoplankton, there's more life. And where you tend to have greener oceans, that's where you have an enhancement of the chlorophyll pigment. And just like plants on land, chlorophyll is a green pigment. And so if the ocean appears...
Yeah, Bisson says the changes cannot be explained by natural year-to-year variability. And while researchers add they cannot fully explain the shift in color, they say they believe it is evidence of yet another way humans are impacting the planet.